When my son's tattooed girlfriend finally broke my rules. I was a certified public accountant for 42 years. I like rules, predictable routines, and perfectly quiet weekends. So when my son brought his new girlfriend to our house, I nearly had a heart attack. Her name was Roxy. She rode a roaring motorcycle, had sleeves of colorful tattoos, and insisted on calling me Chief. For 3 agonizing months, I gave her nothing but stiff, polite nods. I just couldn't understand what my quiet bookworm son saw in this absolute hurricane of a woman. Then came Thanksgiving morning. My wife and son had to run to the grocery store for emergency butter, leaving me completely trapped in the living room with Roxy. I hid behind my morning newspaper. The silence was suffocating. Suddenly, she points to the corner of the room and says, "Wait, is that a vintage 1978 turntable?" I lowered my paper just a fraction. "It hasn't worked in a decade," I grumbled. Roxy didn't even ask for permission. She just walked over, pulled a metal multi-tool out of her leather jacket, and started completely dismantling it. 10 minutes later, she flips the switch. Static. And then, perfect, crystal clear sound. I was entirely speechless. She looked at me, completely deadpan, and pulled 2 crushed cans of cheap domestic beer from her giant backpack. "Care for a celebratory brew, Chief?" I haven't had a cheap beer since my college days, but looking at her proud smile, I took it. We drank, and she told me a story about how she accidentally dropped a heavy wrench right onto her boss's foot. I couldn't hold it in. I ended up confessing that I once reversed a golf cart straight into the country club pond. We laughed so hard, I actually started tearing up. I quickly learned she owned 3 successful auto shops. She wasn't just tough, she was brilliant. When my wife and son finally walked through the front door, Roxy and I were blasting classic rock and eating raw cookie dough straight out of the mixing bowl. My son just stood there looking absolutely terrified. I don't know how it happened, but that tattooed mechanic, she is, without a doubt, the best thing that ever happened to our family.